On today's episode, Corey Davis and Dr. Rob talk about coconut oil, skin health, and cooking oils.
Cool. Yeah, it is recording, buddy.
So let me tell you the story of this microphone. So this is a $500 when it first came out. Not microphone, I'm sorry. Video camera for computers, a USB. It's made by, I forget the company, but Cisco did some sub-branding on it. I didn't even know it was that expensive. I was just on Craigslist a couple of days ago looking for just some simple little, camera so we can shoot this better than what I had been having. And it was $20. I take it home. The thing's $500 camera. I couldn't believe it. It's like super sophisticated.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when I was a kid, I used to dream. I was a huge Star Trek guy. And I used to, seriously, as a kid, I used to dream about like video phones. And yes. I remember I walked into a Bell. You guys have Bell over there? Probably not, eh? You have?
Never heard of that.
So Bell, just a small company. It only invented the telephone. Alexander Graham
Bell. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We had, it was like Southwestern Bell. So I guess that you guys were Northern Bell. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That was just a Canadian teasing an American. But yeah.
Exactly. You're Bell. We're Southwestern Bell.
Yeah. But I remember I used to walk into the Bell store. It's kind of like, let's say, an AT&T store or whatever you guys have down there. And I asked them, by any chance, do you have a video phone? Thinking the answer would be no. And they did. But it was really small, low tech. And I just remember thinking, wow, it kind of gave me a glimpse of the future. This could actually happen. Here we are, brother.
Here we are, Star Trek, not Star Wars. Right. A little different.
That's right, man.
Star Trek has arrived. Unfortunately, Back to the Future has not. What we call a hoverboard, to me, come on. This is a misbranding.
And the laces, come on. I mean, let's get serious.
No, it's just a joke.
Pepsi Next, that's the closest we're going to get.
That's the real deal. You want that. So, Rob, should I still call you Dr. Rob now that you've got this really great branding, or am I going to address
Buddy, you can call me Hey You if you want.
Hey, you
can just call me, Twinkie if you want.
Is there any negative Canadian slurs, like the equivalent of like a Kiwi or a Gringo, or even a positive?
Not like super. I think Canuck. I think most Canadians would probably have a good chuckle on it. I don't think it'd be like insulting, but yeah, Canuck, absolutely. I would say.
Yeah, I'm not going to use
more
that.
Of like a hockey reference. No, you totally could use that. You could use that anytime you want, man. I don't get offended. I think actually.
What about dirty Canuck? Because that's not as good, right?
Dirty Canuck. I mean, listen. I mean, do what you got to do to win. Just do what you got to do, buddy.
I mean, you're the doctor, so it's hard. I got to somehow edge my way in the authority.
In the end, the only thing that's going to matter, buddy, is that championship ring. That's it. And that's what I plan on taking home. So,
all right, it's on then. I don't know the rules, but I'm playing.
Dude, you can call me anything you want. But yeah, absolutely. Like the new branding. So what I'm going to do is, I'm keeping it as Robert Horovitz for now. I was thinking of putting Dr. Rob, lacing it. Just slapping Dr. Rob. I love the name Dr. Rob. I really do. It sounds very personal. Mm-hmm. Even me, Robert versus Rob. Mm-hmm. Robert, I feel like I'm in trouble, or it's some acquaintance. Rob,
it's formal.
It's very friendly. I mean, my friends call me Rob, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought of that. But I think the ownership of the doctor title is never by the person. No person owns the doctor title or naturopathic doctor title. It's always the board.
Do, right?
Yeah. So if anything happens, whatever, for whatever reason, I resign from my license, or I don't know, something happens that I can't use that title anymore, that goes along with the branding. And so I think the way I look at it is, if I'm good enough, people will know that I'm a naturopathic doctor anyway, regardless. So I think I'm going to, anybody, you can call me whatever you want, and people can call me whatever you want. But I think for the branding itself, I'm sticking with Robert Horovitz, I think, for now. Plus, then people know my name.
So would you prefer that I just call you Rob then?
No. I mean, for my ego, I prefer Dr. Rob. You kidding?
I like to call you that because that's just how I come to know you, right?
I mean, listen, I got a big ego. I mean, it's the size of but
it's the proper size. It's not the size that counts, but it works.
Yeah, absolutely. No, or Rob, whatever's comfortable for you, buddy.
Okay. Just making sure that's not going to mess up your branding to call you Dr. Rob, and people are like, I'm confused. I thought this was Robert Horowitz. Who's Dr. Rob?
Not at all. By the way, what do you want me to call you for, like, supplements coach? Like, do you want me to, do you want me to refer to that? Like, how do you want me to exactly?
I like the way you've been doing it, where you've just been like subtly making these gestures to like, but people really need somebody to help advise them. And so it's like soft branding for me, where people that if I end up publishing these on my platform, they kind of know. So I like that. And I like referring to you as doctor so that there's authority being continually built into their minds. Like, this is a medical professional we're talking with here. This is not just some dude like me. So I like the dynamic we're playing at. And I think it's okay if you mention supplements coach softly every now and again. But I think just Cory's fine with me. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. That's my style too. I like the soft sale. I like the, it's Gary V. He's going to ruin it for everybody. He's the marketer that's ruining it for everyone, because now every time we use something like adding value, we think, oh my God, everybody already knows that's
him. He owns that.
Yeah. Horrible.
It's not him. He didn't invent that term. He just really made it popular.
Oh, buddy. So, but yeah, that's my style too. I like the soft approach. I like just creating the content and then every once in a while kind of throwing it in there, because people also, they should know. Yeah. And it comes very natural anyway that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to refer to you that way in the sense that you're not selling yourself. I'm selling you just as like the friend and guy that I'm talking to. Yeah. So it isn't like you're
just a great guy that you are.
Your own. Yeah. I'm just gently selling you softly the way that you want to be.
Exactly. That light in the background, is that bothering you? Because I can shut there's like a glare there.
You never have looked dark to me in your videos.
It's because I know actually the lighting here is remarkably good. It's because we're self-facing and nice. I'm in the office here. Just the sun, it's just the natural light is absurd.
Beautiful. You look wonderful right now. You're radiant.
So do you, buddy. So do you.
I got coconut oil actually shining off my forehead to start our topic.
Oh, man.
Rob, did you know that I use coconut oil on my face?
No, I have used it on my face and hair. The only thing I didn't really like about the hair, I just found at nighttime. That's when I remember to do it. And then so it gets on my pillow.
Yes.
But
the oily stain.
And the only way to remove it from my hair is you really got to like shampoo it out. And I don't like shampooing that often.
Mm-hmm.
Like once a year. No, I'm just kidding.
Or less.
Yeah. Less if possible, less. Yeah, absolutely. We're calling it the McConaughey,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it just, I don't know, it dries out. But coconut oil is such an amazing thing on the skin. Actually, when I was working at Advantage Health Matters, I was in the office. I used to compile tons of research, way more than I ever do now even. And I was looking at coconut oil. And in one study, I forget, I could usually find the study, but it was really interesting on cuts for healing, speeding up the healing. Like we kind of know that as maybe a property of it, but this was examining pigs' feet or pigs' hooves that they were using to experiment on. And I know that might be, cruel or, if you're vegan or vegetarian or whatever, but just as the experiment, and it showed that coconut oil dramatically speed up the healing. And then there were some burn studies as well for coconut oil. So that were quite intriguing. Yeah. So coconut oil from a skin healing perspective, our skin's being damaged all the time, not just by aging, but from the sun, right? That's I don't know if it's 80 or 90% of the time. There's some staggering statistic that shows that our skin is, especially over a lifetime, most of the damage is actually due to the sun, nothing else. So yeah, a staggering amount of damage over time is due to sun, they say, as opposed to whatever. There's pollutants, there's obviously inflammation for wrinkles, collagen breakdown over time. So there's chronic disease, aging, but really sunlight. So when you think of repair, coconut oil is an amazing thing. Coconut oil, certain herbs like calendula, chamomile. Chamomile is one of those herbs, but see, that would be an amazing topic too, like herbs. But chamomile is one of those rare herbs that has anti-itch properties. I seldom ever find herbs with that. So I think for skin, if somebody would, let's say, make a face mask of some kind and add in some coconut oil with, let's say, some calendula and chamomile, oh man, any other antioxidant that you can imagine could be of use, acai, green tea, whatever. But those three, I would say, would be phenomenal. Coconut oil is just an amazing compound.
Dr. Rob, I'm not going to announce any company names, but there is a company that actually makes a blend, and that's what's on my face right now. It's Roman chamomile, coconut oil, rose water, and essential oil blended in, and a little bit of almond oil all together. It's a really nice blend, and I didn't know about the anti-itch component. Not that I usually itch, but if I did, now I know I can just reach for the stuff that I've been putting on my face as a moisturizer. All along.
For sure.
So thanks for that.
Yeah. And I think the anti-itch, it's not just if it's itchy, but just it says something about the herb in the sense, well, from the healing perspective, irritation. So whether you feel itchy, as in the case of, I don't know, some sort of psoriasis, eczema even, or, there's so many other skin conditions, but that itch, that irritation, chamomile has really interesting healing properties on that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. Rob, do you use coconut oil? Do you cook with it?
I actually don't cook with it that often. I have in the past. It's just not my go-to, not for any other reason. Most of my go-to taste-wise, I way prefer olive oil over anything else. Coconut's a close second though. I love the taste of coconut oil, but it's just, I don't have 4 or 5 different oils at home at one time. I sort of finish a bottle, then I start another, and my go-to is just always olive oil. Over the last few years, I've been trying to cook less with olive oil and use it more raw on top of food afterwards. And grapeseed oil. I like grapeseed oil. But coconut oil is fine.
Grapeseed oil is good for high heat cooking, but I thought olive oil isn't necessarily the best because of its a little bit more delicate nature for high heat cooking, right?
If you're gonna cook on actually, there was an interesting debate when I was at Advantage Health Matters. That's a whole food distribution company here in Canada. We were in an office, just a few of us, 8+ hours a day, and we would get into these health arguments back and forth. It was crazy. It actually created a lot of friction in the office. And if they're watching, they remember. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big debates, and my view has changed on this many times over, that the high cooking property, the protective high heat protective properties of certain oils. So my viewpoint was that, let's say grapeseed oil, coconut oil is it has saturated fats in there, which are more resistant to heat. I mean, it holds up. It does hold up to heat. But then you think about it in context, well, butter, that's a saturated fat and it burns very easily. Coconut's a little bit different. It's a medium chain triglyceride. Structurally, these oils, it's just so, they seem so simple, but you could spend a day on this. But grapeseed oil, interestingly, has obviously a very, maybe not obviously for everybody, but it has a high antioxidant potential from the seed itself. People use grapeseed oils and grapeseed products as supplements, right? As anti-aging supplements. It's an ingredient in a lot of supplements, actually, just compounds from grapeseed, Sauvignon Blanc, whatever. And so I found that grapeseed oil on one hand is very protective and can resist high heat. So it has a very high smoking point. The argument though was, well, yeah, but as a polyunsaturated fat, very healthy oil, rich in antioxidants, by heating the oil, you're actually destroying all of those healthy compounds, also possibly creating pro-oxidants. Yeah. And not to mention, you'll be oxidizing the oil, which once you ingest oxidized oil, actually in my book, no joke, this is what I spend, if I could sum up my whole book really with one piece of the most valuable content in there, is it's oxidized fat, inflamed fat. And a big way of oxidizing fat is cooking. So even though it might not smoke itself, you're still oxidizing it. So you're still turning, let's say, a variety of oils in low amounts, right, are extremely healthy. I think people take that out of context. So they consume copious amounts of oils because typical North American,
a lot of calories,
very American specifically, when they find something that's good, they say more of it is better. Like soy, for example, right? A small amount might have some benefits, but they just put it in everything now. So same with fats. And I don't remember even where I was going with this, but if you
oxidize fats.
Yeah, if you heat fats, especially if you're using a lot, and people often will just pour it onto the pan. That's another thing I talk about in the book. Instead of pouring oils on, you should be measuring it with a spoon. It's one of the most valuable things I've ever learned natural health wise, ever. And I'm giving it to you for free, Cory.
What?
For free. I
didn't know about spoons.
Actually, honestly, most people don't. They really don't.
I never measured anything until I talked to you about that, quite honestly. And I've been carrying a little bit of a gut around, and I've been doing all I can to cut sugars out, and I have it as low as possible, and yet I still have it. So I had to think, maybe this is a calorie thing. I haven't been believing in the calorie model, but when you put it to me that way, I started looking at how much oil I was just dumping in the pan, and I'm like, holy cow. So yeah, being mindful about portioning can be—
it's ridiculous.
It can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and so when you're taking, and then, so there's the calorie perspective, but then just going back to coconut oil and how just the smoking point. We were talking about the smoking point of coconut oil and grapeseed oil. If you heat those oils, even though it doesn't smoke, it doesn't mean it's not becoming oxidized. You're heating it. Right. I mean, you're creating oxidation.
It structurally changes. Yeah.
And that can cause havoc in the body. That is nowhere near the same as taking some raw olive oil and spreading, olive oil or coconut oil and spreading it on toast, or adding it to coffee and just letting it gently melt, or adding it to a smoothie. Any one of those things, infinitely better than cooking it. And that goes with
Rob, can I
anywhere.
put you on hold?